Welcome back to the Spot On Intuition Summit. I'm your host, Jacki Beem, and this is video number 3. Before I begin, I want to thank you all for watching the first 2 videos in this series, and I'm really grateful for all of the excitement that so many of you have around activating your intuitive abilities. The journey that I have personally taken to become my most intuitive self has been one of the most rewarding and important gifts that I've given myself in this lifetime, and I feel really blessed and lucky to have been able to guide others who are on this path as well. It was really scary for me to leave the legal profession 10 years ago, but moving into this line of work and helping people all over the world to clear their energy blocks was the best intuitive nudge I've ever followed. I absolutely love this work, and there are a lot of different things I do in my intuitive coaching practice. I host live events, I do group clearings, I create courses, I work one-on-one with people, I have a podcast, but getting people in touch with their intuitive capabilities ranks really high in what I enjoy doing the most, whether that's through helping them clear their blocks, their intuitive blocks, or through deeper mentorship where I help them to activate and train their intuition. And I love doing this work with people because crystal clear intuition is so important when it comes to having clarity about where you want to go, knowing what's actually going to work to get you there, and also knowing how to see, feel, and sense your own energy blockage so that you can clear it out and make yourself a vibrational match for the reality you want to create. I cannot imagine where my own life would be if I hadn't mastered this important skill for myself. And I've seen major transformations in the lives of the people I've trained as well. My journey as a professional intuitive began in 2012 when I went through an incredible intuitive life coach training program with my mentor, Christy Marie Sheldon. And after that, I was a coach in the next 2 rounds of that same training course where I got to assist with helping a few hundred people to train to be more intuitive. And then in 2019, I led my first round of my intuition mastery and coach training course through my own business, where I personally trained and certified a class of new intuitive coaches who now use their superpowers in many different ways in their careers or in their coaching practices. So I have personally seen and experienced the intuitive light go on for hundreds of people. And by clearing out the programming blocks, old emotions, old stories, and heavy energies that you're carrying, and by moving up in frequency, it's a scientific certainty that you too can vibrate in closer harmony with a reality where you are more sensitive to frequency yourself. And you can enhance your ability to psychically see, hear, feel, and know everything you need to know with ease and clarity. And the intuitive light comes on at different times for everyone who is working on this skill. So you don't need to feel bad about where you're starting or where you're at now if you've already been training your intuition. When I think about myself as a student in my intuitive life coach training program back in the day, I knew for a fact at the time that I was absolutely the least talented person in that class. People were seeing colors, messages, blocks. They were seeing energy that I just point blank was not seeing. I felt like I was guessing. And then at a certain point in the course, at the live training event, my confidence skyrocketed. Everything turned on. The light went on. I could see everything. I just had needed the right training. And it was amazing to kind of have that activation where I finally got it. And life hasn't been the same since, and it couldn't possibly go back. It's honestly so empowering, and my students have experienced the same thing, and not just with their intuition. I remember one of the students that I trained years ago, I watched as she started to train her intuition, and she practiced and she kept clearing, and she made really good progress when I was working with her. And then when I saw her again a year later at a live event in person, not only did I see a 180-degree shift in her intuition when I saw her working on somebody, but I saw a huge shift in her overall energy. Because when your intuition is on point and your energy is clear, you generally live a lighter, more happy life. So in the spirit of helping you activate your own intuition, I want to do 2 things in this video. One is I'd like to walk you through the process of activating an intuitive pathway in your brain so you can prime your brain to receive intuitive downloads. So we'll do that right here in this video in just a few minutes. And the other thing I want to do in this video is I want to answer some of the frequently asked questions I've been getting about how intuition works. So let's start there. One question I received from people who were listening to this summit was, if you remember back in video number 2, I spoke about some of the reasons why a person might shut down their intuition. And I mentioned how somebody might shut down their ability to see, sense, feel, or hear energy after their intuition or what they thought was their intuition was wrong. And so people were asking, okay, if it wasn't their intuition, what was it? If I wasn't guided by my intuition, then what was I being guided by? And this is a great question. So Have you ever followed your heart or felt guided to do something and then it was just a huge fail? So it turned out that whatever you were feeling guided to do was quote unquote wrong. Most likely it wasn't your intuition guiding you, it was something else. So what was it? Sadly, when our intuition isn't fully online, we're usually getting guided and led around by our ego. So our ego will guide us to do things that reinforce who we think we are. It doesn't necessarily guide us to what is going to work or what's in our highest and best. Also, when intuition isn't fully in line, we get guided by our programming, how we've been programmed to think that the world is working, or what we've been programmed to want or seek or do. Will be guided by that programming. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second. We also might be getting guidance from our fears. Our fears will guide us to take whatever actions we think we need to make in order to stay safe, loved, or included, or to avoid pain, failure, or humiliation. And also, the fourth thing that we kind of sometimes get guided by is our wishful thinking. Often we feel guided to do something because we just have so much hope that it'll work. So we're not being guided by our intuition there. We're just being guided by a really deep desire and a hope that it'll work. So I'll give you an example, an illustration of how programming will usually make your decisions instead of intuitive guidance. So, one common thing that people have experienced is meeting a romantic match, and they thought that their intuition told them that that person was absolutely the one. So sometimes people are right about that and, their intuition was on point about that. But other times it wasn't our intuition, it was our programming resonating with the other person's programming so strongly that we had no other explanation for what that strong feeling was, that strong vibrational match with another human being could be. So we mistake it as our intuition telling us that they are the one. Or we feel so in love or so high on dopamine or get whatever ego satisfaction we get from being with that particular person. And we mistake those feelings or the energy that we're feeling for intuition. So people often ask, how could I feel such a sense of, yes, this, and not have it pan out? Because that yes didn't come from intuition. It came from the ego. It came from programming, or it came from wishful thinking. So rather than giving up on your intuition after you followed it and it turned out to be wrong, the best thing you can do is to clear your ego patterns so that your energy can expand out and get clear messages from spirit and not be limited by the ego, which cannot see outside of itself and its own programming. Another question I received from a lot of people was, what are some signs that I might be intuitive? There are a lot of signs that you have intuition. And I think if you saw video number 2 in this summit, when I talked about the clairs, if you watched that video and you've experienced some of the things I was talking about, having gut feelings, being able to perceive or feel other people's feelings, experiencing physical sensations in your body, getting visions that you later discover were guided, if you're able to listen to yourself instead of being driven from outside influence, if you can anticipate where something's going, if you find yourself just knowing information, all of those are signs that your intuition is there. But I think the best answer to that question, the question of how do I know if I'm intuitive or what are some signs that I'm intuitive? I think the best answer to that is just look at your life and ask if you've ever had an intuitive experience. I would strongly bet that anyone listening to this right now has had an intuitive experience in their life. And so, if that is the case, you already know what being intuitive feels like. You know this vibration from somewhere. Somewhere in your life, you've had the experience of just knowing something or just feeling like you were supposed to do something and you did it and it ended up being the right move at the right time or to get you to the right place. So, your brain already has a pathway that intuitive information has traveled on. And I want to help you activate that pathway. So, just for a few moments, if you're able to, I'd like to have you close your eyes so I can walk you through this process of activating an intuitive pathway. If you're not in a place where you can close your eyes, then go ahead and just follow along the best you can. But I'd like you to close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And when you release your breath, just go ahead and let yourself relax and turn off your thinking mind. And I'd like to ask Spirit to show you through a vision or through a memory, show you a time from your life where you felt guided in a certain direction or to take a certain action and you followed it and it was the right call. So maybe you were guided to choose the college you went to, where you ended up meeting a person who became significant in your life. Maybe it was going to an event where you met the right mentor or your best friend or a colleague who introduced you to the important, vital people on your journey. Maybe it was taking a course that changed your life. Maybe you decided not to book a trip and then there was a natural disaster in that place, right? I've heard so many stories of people who worked in the Twin Towers and had unexplainable nudges not to go in that morning of September 11th, 2001. So let spirit show you a time when your intuition was on, and thank goodness it was. And as you recall and pull up the energy of this experience, and you sit in the energy and vibration of this memory, you're amplifying and activating the intuitive pathway that was wide open at that time, right? You had an intuitive nudge or you had an intuitive guidance experience. So you know the vibration of intuition, you know what it feels like to be truly guided. So, with more attention on this experience with every passing second, you shine more light on the intuitive pathway and you're naturally kind of dusting off the blocks to it, signaling to the universe, "Hey, I'm using this. It's open now." As you remember this experience and you light up the intuitive pathway you possess somewhere within you, start to focus on how easy this was. It wasn't a weighing back and forth. You just knew on some level and you followed it. Just feel into how clear this feels. For the things that matter, my intuition is clear. I got to where I needed to be. I met who I needed to meet. I did what I needed to do. I moved how I needed to move. As you have this experience amplified right now, just let your mind go ahead and think the thoughts that come up about how your intuition was strong and it was right. Feel yourself affirming thoughts. I'm so grateful that came through. This feels amazing. I feel completely taken care of. I'm always going to get where I need to go. Thank goodness. I can't even imagine where I'd be if I hadn't been guided this way. So take a second now to take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, you're going to direct this energy of being totally intuitive. You're going to direct this energy to spread through your whole body and inform every cell in your body of this reality, this vibration, what this feels like. Let every cell in your body get the download. When it's important, I have intuitive access to everything I need to know, everything I need to do. And as we focus on this feeling now, we are waking up this energy so you can have access to it all the time. We're opening up this pathway so it can stay open and available for information all the time, for things big and small, for things significant and seemingly insignificant. Just let every cell wake up to this vibration so you can call on intuitive guidance in all moments, whether you ask for it or not. We're just moving into this being the default setting for you. Just imagine that there's a pathway that all intuitive information came in through back then. And now imagine it getting scrubbed clean right now and strengthened as you're simply looking at it and remembering it. We're activating this pathway, the part of your consciousness that was and still is tapped into higher information and awareness of what to do without needing logic or reasoning. That small taste of guidance is now readily available. It's activated because you're focusing on it. And as you wake all of this energy around this memory up, Let yourself feel the vibration of your entire body when your intuitive capabilities are active. And just feel the joy that comes with this. And so now on your next exhale, go ahead and expand your energy out 360 degrees around you. Use your intention to expand your awareness out past the room you're in, past the town you're in, past the state or region, past the country and beyond, so you can connect your energy with any and all of the information that you need to know. Move it out past the oceans and eventually out past the entire planet. Just take a really deep breath and exhale, just feeling this connection with everything, and release your breath, just settling into the oneness with it all. And open your eyes. So, with your reactivated intuitive pathway wide open to all of the highest and best information available in this universe, and with your energy and awareness connected with all of the things and people in the 3D world who can bring you to where you're wanting to go, you're primed to receive intuitive nudges clearly. And if there's anything in the way, if there's any of your lifelong programming that makes information distort when it filters through your energy, if there are any unconscious requests to spirit to not show you something, if there are old wounds or fears or traumas that keep you from moving in oneness with the information you get or conveying it to others or acting on it, you can clear all of these blocks and energies. So that kind of leads me into the rest of the frequently asked questions that I get about intuition, and they all have the same answer. Clear your energy blocks. So one question that I get all the time is, how do I trust my intuition? And the quick answer is clear your blocks, because when you release your blocks, you can trust the information you get because it's clear as day. It's not fuzzy on its way in. You get the information as clearly as you get real world evidence. The reason you may not trust your intuition is because it's likely fuzzy and unclear because information is filtering through all of your energy blocks on its way into your awareness. Another question I got was, how do I stay intuitive 24/7? And it's the same answer. Clear your energetic imprints, your patterns, your suppressed emotions, clear your blocks so you can exist in a more expanded state and a higher frequency all the time by default. Because in this state, you're energetically connected with all of the information you want to intuitively tap into 24/7. Another question I got was, how do I share information that comes forward? The answer to that is you release your fear of being wrong. You release the blocks in your throat chakra where you've conditioned yourself to stay quiet. You release all the programming that tells you that there's bad consequences if you share what you're tapping into. When you clear all of your intuitive blocks, all of the suppressed emotions, the fears, the dense energy that's hanging out because of your life experiences and your unconscious choices, all that's left is your natural ability to easily sense frequency, to accurately channel information psychically, and to read the energy of anything you want to know, see, feel, or hear in this universe. And when you can do this, when you can clear out the junk and activate your crystal clear intuition, there's no limit to how great and how light your life can get. You avoid the cost and stress that comes with trial and error. You get to eliminate that from your life because you naturally know what's going to work and what's not. You know what you need to do, you know where you need to go, and you know what you need to clear in order to become a vibrational match, an energetic match to the upgraded reality you want. For everyone listening to this right now, there is a reality available where your intuition is crystal clear, where all of the unconscious choices you've made to shut it down over the course of your life have been released, where you can see, feel, know, and hear whatever information you need, where you can sense the frequency of everything going on and easily know what moves to make to get you to where you want to be in your life, in your friendships, in your relationships, your career, and with your health. So in the next video, I'm going to share an offer for my Intuition Clearings Bundle, which is a relatively low-cost series of audio clearings, video clearings, and for those of you who act quickly, a live group Zoom energy clearing where I'll be able to look right at your individual field of energy and see the biggest intuitive block that you are working with, and we'll clear it. So be sure to watch your email box or bookmark this page or this video series so you can come back here and check it out. Once I open the cart for the Intuition Clearings bundle, the special price I'm offering it at will only be open for 1 week. So if you're someone who's ready and willing to look at all of your intuitive blocks and start the process of clearing them and aligning your energy with pure consciousness, the place where intuitive information is channeled from, and you want to release the blocks to trusting and acting on your intuition and release your fears of being wrong, then be sure to watch out for video number 4. And for those of you who want to learn more about training with me to become an intuitive life coach, I'll be sharing information about my next intuition mastery and coach training program in bonus video number 5 of this summit. So that training program will start in January. So if you want to learn more, again, bookmark this page so you can come back when it gets released. And in the meantime, if you know anyone who would enjoy this complimentary video series or any of the great interviews that we have featured here in the Spot on Intuition Summit, please share this page with them. My goal is to spread this information as widely as possible because we're living in a time in history where we need people to stop getting fooled and have access to their intuition. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in video number 4.